Hello, everyone. It's Kevin Finkel here with another episode of Magic: The Final Frontier. This is episode number 59, and on this podcast, we talk all about the Magic Frontier format, keeping our listeners up to date with what is new, interesting, and powerful in the world of Frontier.
My name is Ryan Schwenk. I am the Japan hobbyist out of Tokyo, Japan. And we have one.
And this is your favorite. I interrupted you there.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Ryan.
No,
finish your introduction.
No. I mean, I was done. I was like, "Where are you? I can't hear you." Yeah.
This is the best introduction ever.
Okay.
So this is Matt Murday, your favorite podcast host. Obviously.
Okay.
That was it.
Okay.
We can keep going now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got the whole team together here, which is normally what we do when we talk about new sets, new cards, fun things like that. So we have not had any single card spoiled yet from the new set that's coming out, War of the Spark. I want to say that's the name of it. This is the somewhat sequel. It's still on Ravnica from what we hear, and it's supposed to be a very Planeswalker heavy. You know, we've heard a little bit about the lore, so what we know is that lots of Planeswalkers are descending on Ravnica. There's going to be some kind of big fight, and we know of at least 36 Planeswalkers that are going to get cards, and we might see more than that in the lore. So a lot going on, a lot of Planeswalkers. You know, we haven't had anything like this ever, really, so that's kind of big, and we just want to do what we usually do when we're talking about new sets coming out. We want to talk about what are we interested in seeing, what are we hoping to see, what are some predictions that we want to make.
So, should we start with what Planeswalkers we know are going to be in here? You want to...
All right, yes, let's talk about Planeswalkers. You want me to just, do my quick run voice?
Like, go through each one? Okay, and then after that, tell us, then we can talk about, like, which ones we're most excited about.
Okay, so we've got the whole Jace League. We've got Jace, Gideon, Liliana, Chandra, Nissa. We've also got, of course, Karn, who I think is included in there, and Teferi. Those two have had cards, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we're also getting some recent ones. We've got Vivian, Vraska, Kaya. I'm naming ones that we've seen recently. We saw Huatli and Angrath over on Ixalan. We've got a Johnny still. And then we've got a whole bunch of people just coming out of the woodworks here. So we've got a Jaya card, we've got a Tamio card, Ralzarek, of course, Samit, Bolas, Ashiok.
Tybalt.
Let me keep going. Tybalt is coming back. Domri's still there. Sorin is coming back, which is huge, along with Nahiri. We've got Saheeli and... I want to say Saheeli was hanging out with Huatli, so it makes sense that they'd both be back. We've got Sarkhan and Narset coming back, which is huge. We also have some interesting new ones. We see Davriel Kane, which was in some kind of book, and Teo Verada. Ashiok is back, which is huge. Ugin is back, which is huge. You know, there's so much here that's up. Ob Nixilis, too. So pretty much every Planeswalker we've seen in the last few years, other than a few notable missing ones like Tezzeret and, still no Garruk. But a lot going on. There's going to be a Planeswalker in every pack. That's going to be crazy. Just the huge amount of Planeswalkers in the set is something we really had before. So how is this going to affect Frontier, and what are you guys excited about?
So
there's kind of...
Go ahead.
There's a few things that I'm excited about, because it's like these characters are characters that I wasn't thrilled with their last card, but like they're kind of getting second chances, which I think is cool. But I also think Wizards has done a really good job in the last, 4 or 5 sets figuring out how not to break Planeswalkers. So I'm also, while I'm excited for these cards, I kind of have this apprehension about we're probably not going to, we're not going to get a Gideon level Planeswalker in this set, I would say.
We're not going to get it.
Yeah, I think especially, we're thinking about limited, and if there's going to be one in every pack, if you have, Planeswalkers are usually very powerful and limited because they provide extended value over time. And if there's going to be one of those in every pack, then that's a huge amount of power that we'd be seeing. So you kind of have to expect that they'll be powered down a little bit.
I think we're going to see more along the lines of Flipwalker level effects, like the Kithian when he flipped into Gideon. His effects were alright. He became like a 4/4, and the +2 is like you have to attack him or something like that. We're going to see more like those types of effects on Planeswalkers.
Dude. The Flipwalkers were some of the best walkers.
Well,
they were so good.
Chandra was Kithian was okay.
No, Chandra was really good. She was just really hard to
Yeah.
flip. Kithian was great on the backside because that 0 made something
But
indestructible.
like how?
Jace was obviously huge.
But how to get him to that point was kind of challenging, and I think that's what we're going to see.
Yeah, it was the flip part that I don't think we're going to see any flip cards, but the flip cards were only balanced because you had to flip them.
So what about Arlen Core? Do you think she's gonna just stay as a human the whole time?
Or
Yeah, I think so.
Or she could be a werewolf the whole time. I don't know.
I think she'll be a human personally.
Yeah, I think there was something where she can transform with planeswalking, or like could only transform an Innistrad. Maybe, I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, and I mean, she's actually one of the ones I'm most excited for because I think like her last version was so close. It was like it had just a few abilities, not even wrong abilities, but they were just in the wrong place, And I really like kind of that really scrappy green red. I'm hoping like a 4-mana walker. Because we just got Domri, and Domri is really good in that slot, but he's more of like a pure grindy mid-range. I'm going to go for pure card advantage.
So we already have 3 red-green walkers at 4 mana in Frontier. And there were 2 more outside of Frontier at 4 mana. So I would love something not at 4 mana if we're going to get a red-green walker. Or actually, we might get 2 here. We have Arlen Cord, who we've only seen at green-red. We also have Domri, who only really makes sense in green-red. So we might see 2 of them. Which is kind of what I'm leaning towards looking through this. I can kind of see where there's probably 2 of each monocolored. There's probably 2 of each 2-colored. And then there's maybe 4 kind of wild card ones, the colorless ones, the 3-color ones. Or 6, sorry. That would be 6 of them.
So
I mean, I guess I just want something a little scrappier, right? Because Arlen Cord was like, shoot something, make a wolf. Shoot something, make a wolf, die. When she worked, right? Mm-hmm. So I want something that's just more about like just I'm gonna fight it out in like a. I mean, yeah, she was grindy, but I feel like it's a different kind of grindy than like Domri represents, right? Where Domri is just I'm gonna just get a whole bunch of creature cards and throw them at you.
I want to see more like Master of the
Xenagos
Fells type ability, like make it 2/2.
Yes.
Yeah. Or
I would kill to see like some kind of Hunt Master of the Fells replicated on Arlen. That's one of the most like that's on my wish list.
That's the dream. Okay.
Card I am most excited about is Tybalt. Yeah, I'm memeing hard, but
we haven't seen him in a long time.
I think he.
Do you think he's going to be mono red in this, or do you think he's going to be maybe 2-color?
Maybe it could be red black.
I'm calling black red. I'm calling black red for sure.
So I like to see like some kind of looting effect on. Last time we kind of had that, draw 1, discard randomly, but I want like a faithless looting, like his +1 is draw 2, discard 2. I think that'd be amazing.
Yes. I'm of 2 minds on Tybalt. Either he's gonna be like the most pushed card in the set because they're like overcorrecting for the last one and they just like we have to make this one good, or they're gonna pay too much homage to the original one and keep some random element, and it's gonna be just garbage as a result.
I think there's still a lot of design space with like red and black walkers, so there's a possibility we'll get better effects outside of like green and white and blue, which have been like explored to heck.
And we'll also have Angrath, so we'll probably have a second chance to see that.
Yeah. So that's another one that I'm really excited to see them take a second crack at, because I think I've been pretty vocal about how much I love the 5-mana Angrath. He's just 1 mana too expensive, right? I really want, and he's actually the one I'm most excited for. Just give me an uptick discard on a 4-mana walker. That's all I want, Wizards of the Coast.
Do you have a single one that you're most excited for? Because I definitely have one picked out. Ryan, if you have one.
Well, I mean, I said Tybalt, but I guess I'm also kind of excited about a new Sorin as well. I've always liked Sorin. I liked him in the original Dark Ascension. I liked him when he was on Khans of Tarkir. And even the 6-mana was not so bad.
So where do you think he's going to land on colors? Because I believe we've only seen Sorin as black and white, although in the lore he makes some sense as red.
He looked like that art for him looks Mardu to me.
Yes. Now the one thing is that the stained glass art are not the card art, so you could have these be a little bit off from the card art.
I would be absolutely shocked if there's not cards of this. This is going to be like a Mythic edition. This is going to be like what's it called? The lands from Zendikar, Battle for Zendikar.
Yeah, or the the San Diego cards or something like that. I could definitely see these showing up as something.
Yeah, these are showing up on a card somewhere. I don't know where they are yet, but they're gonna show up.
So my answer is pretty 100% Ashiok. Ashiok was such a sweet planeswalker, and I'm really excited to see what else they do with that design space because it was a very unique planeswalker at the time.
I'm really kind of apprehensive for Ashiok because I think Mill is an archetype that I don't ever want to be good, and I feel like they're just going to keep Ashiok focused on Mill because that's what the last card was.
Yeah, I would definitely prefer that she was, or
Well,
it is some kind of, Thief of Sanity card, more, like focus on that part of it, stealing their cards more than the milling them kind of part of the card, because that wasn't the important
it
part.
could also be
that would be
discard.
sweet.
You're like +1 opponent discards a card, kind of like a Liliana the Veil. Or is that
If
too
you give
strong,
me
you
a
think?
blue black walker that does that, I'll be satisfied, but I really want it in black red.
And I think Ashiok will be in like at 4 mana as well the second time around. I don't think they'll have another 3 mana one.
I mean, some of these walkers
Yeah.
are going to be 3 mana.
Yeah.
I would say like
that's a good question.
a fair
What do you
amount.
guys think? Which ones would you think would be highest and lowest mana costs? Do you have any ones that you want to call out?
I think Tibble will still be low. I think he'll be 3 mana.
I think Ashiok's going to be like 3. Honestly, I think that's a safe call.
That'd be cool. I could see. It's tough because there's probably going to be 2 of each color pair. So if you're like, oh, Ashiok's 3, that means probably the other blue-black is going to be more expensive. Or like Tybalt's low, you could see Angrath high. That makes some sense.
Yeah, and I want to circle back to Sorin actually. I think it almost doesn't matter what they do with him. I don't think he's going to be playable in Frontier.
Oh yeah, why is that?
Because
we have so many.
Yeah, we just have
black-white.
so many black-white walkers that are just like, just how do you compete with Gideon is really the big question you have to ask as a planeswalker in that color, right?
Yeah, and even more than that, I mean, the 4 mana Sorin, the 6 mana Sorin, the 5 mana black and white walkers we have.
Yeah. Gideon being the big question you have to ask, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff in that space. So how do you take that in a new direction?
Well, if Sorin is white, black, red as his mana cost, that would be awesome.
It would be, but could you envision like what would he have to be in black, white, red to see play, like meaningful play?
Crackling Doom effect.
Yeah, at 3 mana, you can push a planeswalker pretty hard if it's 3 colors because that's so hard to cast.
You really think so? I think they've learned how not to print broken 3 mana. Crackling Doom on a 3 mana walker? Are you kidding me?
Like,
you really think
but-
Wizards is gonna print Crackling Doom on a 3 mana walker?
As like a minus effect. Like he starts off with like 3 and -2 is like Crackling Doom.
That's broken.
Oh,
That's
God.
for sure not happening. 100% that's not happening.
Yeah. Yeah, 3 mana. I can see 4 mana maybe, but with like, 1 white, 1 black, and one red.
But then you have to compete with Gideon, and there's no way he's going to be better than Gideon even with 3 mana or 3
Well,
colors.
What if it's a Crackling Doom that also hits Planeswalkers? Yeah,
Maybe.
So,
it is.
Garuk?
Yeah.
So another card I'm actually really excited about is Narset. Because I think she's she's one of my favorite planeswalkers in Frontier, and I think she's kind of like low key playable, and like she's not amazing, but every now and then you can find a way to fit her into a deck that's just like she just looks really impressive, Like when you play her as a 6-drop and go like turn 5 Fumigate, turn 6 Narset, down tick dig through time. Next turn, your dig through time rebounds, and then you Gear Hulk dig through time again. It's just,
Yeah.
it's so beautiful, So I'm excited to see what they do with her. I don't think we're gonna get rebound, so she'll have to go into a new direction, and whether or not that's of interest to me, we'll see.
Well, they also have the first version of Narset that they can draw off some of, so, being able to cast spells from the top of your deck.
Yeah.
Who I'm a little scared about is Karn. The fact that we've got Karn and Ugin, like I was just saying, with 2 colorless planeswalkers, you'd expect one of them to be a little cheaper, one of them to be a little more expensive. So if we get another 3 or 4 mana Karn, that could be...
I think
it could break some things.
I think
again.
it'll be 5. I think it's gonna be between Karn Liberated and the one.
You think they'll do like
down there.
5 on Karn and like 7 or 8
Yeah.
on Ugin?
Yeah,
think
I'm
7
calling
on
like
Ugin.
5 and 8 or 9.
It's gonna be impossible to play Ugin
So,
at 8 or
I'd
9.
love to see just a like crazy high mana one, like a 10 mana Bolas or something.
Yeah, I
And
think they
you
have to,
win the
right? Because
game.
like, it creates like this awkward pressure if they put him at like 7 mana, right? Because then it conflicts with the flip Bolas, who's kind of like a he's like a big card for this standard, right? So I'm expecting they're gonna have to like really boost his mana cost. They can't have like a cheap bolus, I don't think, right? It doesn't make sense.
Could they do like
No,
double
yeah.
red, double black, double blue? Like have a 6
Oh,
mana?
that'd be sweet. Or like double blue. I could see 2 double black, double blue, double red, or even 3.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Well-
I'd be into that.
I mean, it still
Or,
makes it kind of
maybe
hard to
even
play.
You could give it the Cruel Ultimatum cost and go 3 with the black.
Yeah, I'm into that.
That'd be sick. All right.
That'd be perfect. That'd be like the best way to cap off the bolus storyline for sure.
Oh.
So I have one more that I'm excited about. What do you guys have any more that you want to talk about before we get to my last one?
Any more that I've got to talk about?
I want to see
Obnixilus,
Nahiri
maybe?
again. I'm looking forward to seeing Nahiri. I really liked her. What was it in Eldritch Moon, right?
It was Shadows over Innistrad.
Or Shadows are in a Shadow. Yeah, I really liked her. I liked her abilities. Searching stuff up. I think there's still a lot of design space left on her. I think she was a pretty powerful walker as well. So I'm looking forward to see what she brings.
That was actually my pick as well. I'm super pumped for Nahiri. I think she's actually like super underrated as a card, and maybe that's just because we don't have things that complement her in red white for a lot of. But
Red White's a tough one, but she gets rid of so much in Frontier. I do really like her, even more than like a Gideon kind of thing. If I'm against an aggressive deck, I don't mind playing her and taking down, exiling a Smuggler's Copter kind of thing.
yeah, just going up to 6 right away is just so much pressure when she comes down. But I guess one thing I'm kind of interested about Nahiri is because like her original thing was kind of like I make things out of stone, and her last appearance kind of wasn't really about that at all. So I'm really curious to see how they kind of transition her, because that art to me still looks red white. So
Definitely.
I don't know where they're gonna go with that, because that doesn't red white doesn't seem like it lends itself super well to making things out of stone.
I mean, you can make an equipment, which is what her original one did.
I guess that's true.
So, who do you think of these Planeswalkers? Which one needs to redeem its old card the most? So, like, what is going to be the most improved? Do you think?
Tybalt.
Tybalt?
Yeah. You can't go worse. I mean, you can only get better.
You know where I think you can go worse? Jaya.
Okay. Yeah. I guess.
Jaya
I
was
thought the Jaya
pretty
card
bad.
was so bad. I would love to see Jaya redeem herself.
I think Huatli was like pretty terrible too, just like all around.
It sees the occasional Frontier play. Back when we had the red-white Planeswalkers deck, you'd usually see one of the 5-mana Huatli.
That was wrong, straight up. That like
It's like a better Gideon. It makes 3/3 tramples.
I actually play that deck a lot, and it like straight up that it's wrong in that deck. It doesn't do what the deck wants to do.
I thought Samet was
But,
also
like-
pretty bad.
Yeah, Summit was not great.
Yeah, I think Samet probably will be the most improved, just because the bar was pretty low, and I think they're gonna at least make him decent this time.
Now, one last one I'm kind of excited about is Gideon, just because we know he's got the Black Blade, and I'm really curious what that's going to do, because it'll open up some new ground for Gideon, probably.
Yeah,
Although it may just end up being that he turns into a creature with power and toughness equal to your lands in play, which is probably the cop-out answer.
I actually think I'm pretty into that.
Yeah?
Yeah, because
I mean, and that's the traditional Black Blade effect, and, Gideon likes to turn into a creature.
yeah, I mean like. Because to me, that says they're probably going to cost them pretty cheaply. Like, if they did that at, like, 3 mana, I think I'm super excited by that.
Okay, I could see it.
All right. So should we talk a little bit about our predictions
Yeah,
for
so
the set now?
the things we wanted to do,
Well, let's do wish list
a
first.
wish list
You
and
want
a
to do wish
prediction.
list?
Okay, we'll do wish list first. Sorry, Ryan.
Well, see, I didn't finish my wish list because, like,
I mean, also think back if you have any, ones that you've had on your wish lists before that just didn't show up. So, my first one on my wish list, I've been saying it every time, is a nice 2-mana removal. It's something that trades with Copter on Priority, preferably before it can attack.
So you're thinking in
what I've been
white.
calling it, yeah, in white. I've been calling it the White Abrade. I don't know what the card is yet, but I've been calling it the White Abrade.
I would love something in white. See, I don't think the problem is Copter in white, because a lot of times in white you're going to run... You're almost always going to have complementing colors, I think. So, like, to me, you're either going to be running black or red with white. And those colors are going to handle Copter for you. I think the big problem I have is that white doesn't have great ways that, like, feel good to deal with big creatures, even though they're kind of like the F big creatures color, right? They're supposed to be, unifying the masses to take down the bigger guys.
The Path to Exile kind
Yeah.
of effect. Yeah, I could see that. And that's kind of where... Well, I'm thinking of, mono-white aggro or white-blue aggro, and those have kind of dropped out because they just can't deal with red, and they really should be able to.
So, sorry, I was going to say, you guys talking about Path to Exile. I mean, that sounds like the perfect card for this set, to reprint, just because...
A 2-mana Path to Exile?
There's no way.
Because
not with...
this whole set is about, destroying Planeswalkers and getting rid of Planeswalkers, sparks, and whatnot, and, what better way than say, okay, you're exiled, you're exiled, you're exiled.
It doesn't hit Planeswalkers, for one.
Well,
There's
ones
no
that
way.
turn
There's
into
no
creatures. The ones that turn into creatures. So, something like a Gideon or maybe an Arlen Court or something that turns into a creature to attack. You can exile them. Some of these will.
I'm pretty sure Path to Exile is just too strong for Standard.
Yeah, well, what about if it was a 2-mana Path to Exile?
I would
play that.
White path.
Yeah, I would play that.
Honestly, I would take just a 2-mana enchantment, flash, exile target creature. No, it doesn't need any more conditions than that. Enchantment's a condition. I think that's fine.
All right, well, that was my first wish list. What do you guys have else?
I just want to tack on to that. I just want a way for white to be able to deal with Scarab God.
Okay. I mean, Deck and Stone... they can run the Stasis Snare.
Deck and Stone just
There's
feels so bad against those long, grindy matchups.
Conclave Tribunal.
Ugh.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So I think So go ahead.
What'd you say?
No, Matt can go if he wants to say something.
I just want to do kind of an honorable mention before I really dive into my wish list, and that's just more good split cards.
Okay.
I was really excited by the last round of split cards we got, and none of them are amazing. They're all you can play one of them in your on-color deck, and it's pretty good. But it's not I would like to maybe see just a tiny little step better. But I have been. Those are exciting cards to me. Either way, even if you can only play one of them in your on-color deck.
And what it really comes down to is that most sets don't have very many multicolored cards, so a lot of the time you'll see a blue-white creature and a red-blue creature and a red-green creature, and those are your only real multicolored cards. So being able to see colored sorceries and instants just makes things so much more powerful. You don't get to see that enough, and that's why things like Dromoka's Command were so strong for so long, because we were actually getting those kind of cycles.
Yeah, and just the split cards in general, right? They're just so much versatility. So I really like that out of my cards.
Okay, so is that your wish list? Did you want more split cards?
It's my honorable mentions, but yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm already on number 5, so what's your number 5 as well?
So my number 5, and this isn't going to surprise anybody, but just a mid-range focused 1-mana discard.
Okay.
The format needs it. Mid-range is dead.
It used to be on my wish list. It was always one of those I want a better discard card. Or I want a better discard card. I'm happy with Thought Erasure.
Thought Erasure has definitely knocked it lower because it used to be number 1 or 2, and now it's it's number 5, right? So it's Thought Erasure is great. I guess the problem is I think blue is probably verging on too good in Frontier. So I'd like ways to just not have to run blue for Thought Erasure and all the draw spells and whatever else it is I'm running.
What about you, Ryan?
So we're still on pick 5 here for our wish list?
Yeah.
I didn't really make a list of I didn't make really a ranking of what I wanted, but I just put stuff.
And we may have
whatever.
discussed some of them already.
I've been talking about
Go
it
ahead.
for the last. Yeah, I've talked about this card. I think for the last couple, wish list reviews or whatever. Hero's Downfall or something like a Hero's Downfall, something that's going to destroy a creature and a planeswalker.
A Braid, we got that.
Devil?
A Braid?
Devil, yeah. Sorry, oops, derp.
Yeah, but I think we need something better. Something
I don't know,
similar
man.
to that.
I think between that and Mortify, you've got the kind of versatile removal space
Assassin's
pretty
Trophy.
well covered. I mean,
You think so?
and you have Abzan Charm too. It's kind of any color wedge, any kind of. Yeah, we got good removal now, man. Especially when it comes to dealing with planeswalkers.
I could see it.
Okay.
So my number 4 Oh, sorry. I'm just gonna. Yeah, my number 4. I mean, I kind of already mentioned it. Is I want to see a good red-green walker because we have not gotten one in Frontier. Red-green walker. They've all been so bad.
I think Domri's is playable. I really do.
Yeah, I just haven't found a spot for him. We don't have any kind of big red-green deck really. So I would like one that's playable and aggressive, or I'd like one that's strong enough to carry a slower archetype.
All right, I would like a scrappier one. So I don't have a problem with this. I'm on board.
Okay.
So my number 4 is kind of similar. As I want a black red 4-mana Lily of the Veil type card.
Yeah, I think you said that one.
Yeah, I did say it, but now I'm officially adding it to my wish list.
All right. Ryan, you got another item? Doesn't have to be in order or anything.
So I don't know if we talked about this before or not, but I would still kind of like to see Pithing Needle get a reprint, even though we already have Sorcerer Spyglass and we have Immortal Sun. I think sometimes like you just need something turn 1.
That's cool. Yeah, or at least a Pithing Needle effect for this.
Or some kind of like new Pithing Needle type effect. Maybe
I'm not. Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, it doesn't have to be exactly like Pithing Needle, but I want something at 1 mana that I can set down and not have to worry about. I mean, Pithing Needle was like all permanent. Why not just give us one that focuses mainly on Planeswalkers?
I'm not in love with Pithing Needle just because it has some really feels bad plays, right? Where it's like throw it down turn 1, turn off all your fetches, good game.
That's why I'm saying this one is like, yeah.
I think there's room to have it like on a creature body that could be pretty interesting.
Well, like a Phyrexian Revoker.
Yeah, I'd like to see that push a little more. I think you could get like just to being like a straight bear, or maybe even a little bit better than that.
Or like an 0/3 for 1 mana would be cool.
Yeah, would love that too.
Okay, I'm interested in that. That would be something I think was pretty cool. I'm going to go to my next one, which is, I said it, like, I don't like how I have it written down. I have it written down as more oaths. I don't know if they specifically have to be that, but I would like to see more cards that benefit you from playing lots of Planeswalkers.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that's a guarantee. Like, I think...
Yeah, I mean, you expect something, but I'd like something, playable along the lines of, like, an oath. And those were cool cards. I want to see those actually be good.
Whose oath do you want to see?
I don't know if I have a specific being like, I want to see, the Oath of Ajani, or wait, we have
we have Oath of Ajani, yeah.
So we could have Oath of Jaya, we could have Oath of, let's pick somebody weird.
Oath of Sorin would be good, cool. I think.
Sorin's not gonna swear an oath.
No.
Yeah, Sorin's not a big oath swearer. It's interesting. There's definitely some people that I'd expect to be, on kind of Jace's side. Some people I'd expect to be on Bolas's side, but there's definitely some people that are kind of going to be wild cards, or like they could be almost on their own side. I don't feel like Ugin has a strong leaning. I don't feel like Tybalt's going to have a strong leaning anyway.
Tamio seems pretty neutral too.
We didn't get an Oath of Karn, did we?
No.
Did we not? Yeah, you might be right. I don't think
I would say that. I would say that's like a shoo-in, because he's definitely on Team Gatewatch. There's no way.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
All right, so my number 3 is I'd like more proactive Ascendancy hate in the vein of Kambal.
Okay.
So like maybe something like Spirit of the Labyrinth would be cool.
Yeah, so that one's the 3/1, and players can't play more than one spell per turn.
Or they can't draw more than one card, or something like
right.
that.
Yeah.
Something like that. Which I think would be pretty good at shutting Ascendancy down. So I'd like something just a little bit better than we have right now.
Okay.
I want it to be a proactive kind of, like something that I'm just going to throw down, and it can be kind of part of my game plan.
Yeah, kind of like how we had things like Thalia that you could throw down when you were fighting Saheeli back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. Thalia and Archangel of Tides.
Mm-hmm.
Cindervines I really like too. I mean, it's just set it and forget it. So
that's true. Cindervines is good at that.
I do love Cindervines. I think it's one of the best hate cards in the format right now.
What do you got, Ryan?
Well, I think I'm on number 2 now.
3? Whatever you got.
Whatever I got. Maybe number 3. I'd like to see a card that slows down. Maybe not just stops the walkers, but like something that like a tax effect. Whenever somebody uses a loyalty effect, you have to pay 1 or pay 2. We haven't really seen any kind of prison or tax effect on that type of card yet.
Interesting.
I think we have seen like Smothering Tides and stuff. Like there's cards like that. They're just bad because they're miserable to play against. So Wizards doesn't want to push them, I think.
You think so? Because like if you could really push all these walkers in this set, but you have something that can kind of slow them down. Yeah, I'm just saying, let people still have fun with the cards, but also have a way to deal with them.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think we're just at a point where there's enough Planeswalker removal that you almost don't need anymore. I think we are going to get more, but I think this taxing effect you're talking about, like, do we need more ways to kill Planeswalkers?
Well, I mean, we have black, we have black-red, we have exile effects
green
and white.
could use something, I suppose.
Yeah.
Black green, and they don't really see as much play in Frontier, but at least in Standard, there's a ton of white enchantments that just eat any permanent.
Mm-hmm. All right, so you had said that you'd like to see something more for Ascendancy. I haven't been as worried about Ascendancy lately. I'd like to see something in green or white or both that really hoses Atarka. So I'd like to see like a good life green aggressive creature. I've been saying kind of like, I'd love to see Kitchen Finks, but not literally, but something like that. Something that I'm happy to play aggressively that gains me life at the same time.
I'm fine with that. I guess you're focusing more on like an aggressive, right? Like an aggro deck, right? Like a way for an aggro deck to fight through Atarka?
Yeah, I'd like for, green creature-based decks to be able to play against Atarka.
All right, I approve.
Is it my turn again, or?
I think if you got one more or two more, Matt?
I still have 2 more.
Yeah, I still have one more.
So I'll go first then. And kind of in the same vein is I would really like a strong green 2-drop. And when I say strong green 2-drop, I don't just mean like kind of generically good card. Like Sylvan Advocate was a generically good green 2-drop in its standard.
So like a 3/2 Vigilance wouldn't be what you're looking for.
I don't think that'd be enough. I want something more mid-range focused, like so something something not quite Tarmogoyf, but in that kind of same space, right? So like Grim Flayer, I think, is a great example of that kind of card. I would like another one in just mono green. Like let green just be good at creatures, because right now in Frontier, they're really not, especially if we're looking at like kind of mid-range playable creatures.
Yeah, I think what we've said before when we've kind of brought this up is something you and I both had on our wish list. Something like Scavenging Ooze would be so
Scavenging Ooze would be so good.
It wouldn't be broken. It would just be awesome.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Can I do my last one, and then you guys can talk for the rest of your wish list. So the last thing that I would like to see in this set is something that destroys emblems or removes them.
Interesting. Or interacts with them, maybe?
Yeah, because there's some. I don't think all these walkers are going to have abilities that make an emblem. Usually they don't, but I still think there's going to be a lot of them, and there needs to be a way to start getting rid of them, because you have to have a way to kind of get back in the game.
It's so much investment to get an emblem, though, right? Like, if you have an emblem, your opponent had like multiple turns to stop you, right? That's what an emblem is supposed to be, right?
Except for those really tough ones that are like +2/+2, haha. Like Vraska, the Relic Seeker, is like super hard to get rid of.
Doesn't she cost 6 mana?
Yeah, but it's like she ticks up twice and then she can ultimate, and she protects herself. She's really good for a 6 mana.
Yeah, but I mean, we also have stuff like Bedevil and Assassin's Trophy and Vraskas and just like having a board.
Yeah.
I could see Bolas having something like gain control of a Planeswalker or emblem.
Yikes.
So switching emblems, like target emblem goes to another player, maybe?
Well, I don't know if you can actually target them, but maybe choose one. Yeah, something like that.
I don't know, guys. This whole subject's making me nervous.
Huh.
All right, so my last one, kind of mundane, but just a little greedy one. With all these Planeswalkers, I'd like one of them to be a nice Saheeli piece. I wouldn't mind seeing that deck back in a reasonable tier 1, tier 2.
Well, that's fair. All right. So my last one is super greedy and never ever gonna happen, but
All
I
right.
want Lightning Helix back.
Oh, yes,
I
definitely.
think it would just do so much good for the format. It would just like enable a whole skew of archetypes that they
Yeah.
have good cards, but they're just not quite there, with a Tarka running the roost. And I really don't think Lightning Helix in the format would kill a Tarka, but it would actually give it some natural predators.
Did
Yeah.
did we get anything at 3 mana? I know that there was the 4 mana split card that was like
So
in
yeah, we got
Ravnica.
this the split card that's the 1 and the 4. So I was having this discussion with someone on my team that I test with. Is we got a 2 mana helix the first time, then we got a 4 mana helix the second time we were on Ravnica, and I was like, well, what does the 3 mana helix look like?
Do you guys even think that would be playable? I don't think that'd be playable.
I mean, if it was, I think what I came up with that I thought would be fair is that it can't go to the face. It would just be 3 mana, 1 red white, 4 damage to target creature, and you gain 4 life.
Or it could be 3.
I mean,
Yeah.
I guess if you make it creature or planeswalker, I'm more interested.
Okay,
I still
let's
think
do
it's
creature or planeswalker. That's
I'm still a little bit skeptical.
all right. I like it. Okay, creature or planeswalker. Boom.
Yeah. And we're definitely going to see more Planeswalker targeted spells this time around. Creature or Planeswalker. It's going to be like on everything.
All right, so I started out this time. Who wants to start out with their predictions? These ones we come back to, we visit them. So these are the big money. What do you got for predictions?
I'll start, mostly because I want to kind of preface what I'm about to say with I only make predictions that I feel aren't freebies.
Okay.
So, like, for example, I could predict that Sorin is going to be in Mardu colors, but that's
Okay.
too easy. That's too easy. So
Some of mine are a little bit easy, but
I'm not going to
I've got
hold
them
you
on my
guys
list.
to my standards, but
Go for it.
it's much more interesting if you make specific predictions. So
Okay.
that's what I'm going to do. And I'm immediately going to break my rule by saying my number 5 prediction is disappointment.
That's kind of mine as well. I'm saying my number 5 is that most of the planeswalkers are not going to be playable.
Yeah, I mean, like, they've really been dialing it back on the planeswalkers, so I'm expecting this set to be no different. And I also think the hype for this set is just through the roof, so, like, living up to that hype is going to be really hard.
Yeah, I kind of want to caveat that I think it's going to be a good set. I think that they did Dominaria very well, and I think that this will be very similar, where it'll be a lot of exciting cards. It'll be, they had all those legendaries. This one will have all the planeswalkers. But at the end of the day, they just weren't very good.
I guess I mean, like, I'm optimistic, right? Because the last few sets I think have been really good. Like probably closing on Cons of Tarkir good. And I'm sure that's going to be an unpopular opinion, but I think they have been, like, really good. And so, like, I'm optimistic, but given that the theme is Planeswalkers, and Planeswalkers isn't one of the ways that the last few sets have been good, I'm nervous.
Yeah. All right. What's your first prediction, Ryan? We're gonna hold you to it.
We kind of already talked about it a little bit, but I definitely think that there's going to be some more oaths.
Okay.
Some kind of effect
I don't hate
for
that.
some of those, Planeswalkers. Not everybody, but we'll get like another 3 or 4, I think.
All right. So my first one was kind of taken there. I'm gonna go with my second one, which is a little bit more bold. Of these 36 planeswalkers we've already seen, I'm predicting we're gonna see more than one copy of one of these cards.
What do you mean?
Like more than one copy of these planeswalkers. So I could see there being 2 Gideons or 2 Vraskas or 2 Bolas, something like that.
That was actually my number 4 prediction as well.
Man, we are right on line here.
2 versions?
Oh, I think we kind of discussed this. I was talking about I like cycles. I would like there to be, colors to be even for the most part within cycles. And with 2 colorless planeswalkers, that leaves us at 34 cards, which there's no way to make a cycle out of. So I was like, maybe we just have a corrupted Liliana and then a Liliana once she, breaks free of Bolas's clutches and becomes a good guy. So we'll see 2 of her card, and then that would be, you could make it even then.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, who here? Because to me, if you look at this, like, there's a very easy set of monocolored walkers, right, in a cycle. So, like,
I think two probably.
I would say like yeah. So there's two of each. I would say with the exception is I don't know who would be the second mono blue planeswalker, right?
Yes, probably one of the new ones. So there is a kind of mono blue looking one that we don't know anything about.
I mean, she
And
looks
then-
very blue white to me.
Yeah, or blue rat or something. And then, actually, if you got the same link I'd sent you, that one with the hat on in the second level, people said are supposed to be Mu Yunling, which I think was the mono blue planeswalker from the China set. I don't think that it actually matches any piece of the art at all, so I'm not buying that theory yet. But
Neither
if
am I, especially given like looking at the color scheme here. That would be a very radical change in color identity. There is no blue in that planeswalker.
Yeah, I agree. I don't buy that. If that's true, if that player character is in the set, then that would be a mono blue as well.
Well, that's not going to be mono blue. There's no way. Even if that is Mu Yan Ling, she's had like a midlife crisis and is now like Abzan
Green
or something.
black or something. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But so like kind of following your line of thinking though, if we see that we have like a clear set of monocolored planeswalkers, 10 of them, except we're missing the blue slot, I would vote that Jace is going to be the one who gets the double card.
Interesting.
Because he's probably going to have like the big showdown with Bolas too.
Yeah, I mean, I can see Jace, I can see Gideon, with the Black Blade. I can see Liliana. I can see Vraska because she's got those memories that she needs to kind of lose.
I thought
wanna say there
Liliana's
was one
bad though.
more.
I thought she joined the Bullets.
Well, yeah,
For
but not by
now.
choice. Yeah, those are kind of the big ones. Bolas just because he can have some big effects in the set. Yeah, those seem like likely ones.
So next card.
It's on you, I think. Ryan.
Okay, so I would like to predict that we see some kind of loyalty drain effect. We've seen Destroy Walkers or Exile Walkers or Damage Walkers, but I want to see something that just like removes one loyalty from all walkers. Kind of like what they had with what was it? Hualtli, with like you +1, you get counters equal to the number of creatures you have, or like the old Gideon, I believe, from like Gate Crash, where it's like +1 equal to the number of permanents you have or something. So I'd like to see some kind of effect where like all other planeswalkers lose one loyalty and you gain equal to that number.
Interesting.
I actually think there's a very real chance that happens this set. I actually think that's a really good prediction.
So maybe like in a white or a black or something like that.
I would think that fits really well with Bolas's set.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, we're kind of tending towards his plan being to kind of lure all the planeswalkers to Ravnica and then do something ominous with them after trapping them there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Everyone gets weak.
It lines up pretty well.
Okay,
So
you guys.
My number 3, and I'm realizing now after we've talked this out that I didn't put enough time into this, but there will only be 2 playable walkers for Frontier, and neither of them will be like super impressive Gideon levels.
Okay. I mean, that's kind of what we had said at 5, so I see where you mean that you didn't.
Yeah, that's my bad, guys.
Okay. So my number 3, we've been talking about how there's going to be some planeswalkers at different mana points. And, I just said that we're probably going to get something great from Marvel. I'm going to go a little bit bolder and say that Marvel will be tier 1. That we're going to get something like, an 8 or 9 mana Ugin, or like an expensive Bolas or a Karn, just something, big, and it's going to push it over the edge.
Really? So I guess here's my question to follow that up. Do you think Marvel isn't good because it's like wins when it spins the wheel aren't enough?
That's a good point. So Marvel does. I think the good versions of Marvel have a lot of things that'll bridge the gap. So something like maybe a 7 mana Karn or like a 7 mana Ugin maybe is more what they'd be looking for. Something that they can naturally play but is still able to be in the deck as an auto win button.
Yeah, I think the really improving that deck comes from winning at earlier mana costs that they can naturally cost when their game plan just doesn't go off.
Yeah, I don't want something unplayable like the Ulamogs, but I'd like something that can be an auto win like Emrakul, but can also be 7 mana like Emrakul.
I hope you're wrong. I hope that
Yeah,
doesn't
that's
happen.
fine. I hope
Marvel's
I'm
the
wrong,
worst.
I also hope I'm wrong, but that's what I'm putting in here. Back to you, Ryan.
Okay, so this is kind of like similar to like the drain effect, but I would like to see an effect, in this set where like you can switch the number of loyalty counters on one planeswalker with the planeswalker that use that ability. So like they have like a -1 effect, and you take your, for example, like your guy's like a starts with 4 loyalty, and you go down -1 to 3, and switch with like someone who has 5 or 6, and they get 3, and then you get 6, like that sort of effect. So I'd like to see some kind of switch effect, or like some kind of steal another planeswalker's ability, like -3, copy some other loyalty ability, and then like use it or something like that.
So, I think that was something they had discussed with the Oaths, and they ended up scrapping, but I think it would be interesting to bring it back. When they were talking about the Oaths, one of the things they were looking at is like, oh, you have the Oath in play, and it gives all of your Planeswalkers, a +1 to scry or something like that. So it gives Planeswalkers loyalty abilities that aren't on their card. And that's kind of the same design space that you're talking about.
Yeah, so kind of like, I guess it's kind of like improved Oaths sort of thing.
I think there's a reasonable chance that we see a planeswalker with a down tick that like steals another planeswalker's thing, right? Their down tick.
Yeah.
But like cool. But probably he would have like this planeswalker would have like a +2, but it doesn't do very much on its own.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then the -X is equal to whatever you're stealing.
Yeah, that'd be good. I think that'd be like super playable, just like a planeswalker assassin type person.
Or even one that could just +0 to activate the loyalty ability of another planeswalker again this turn.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna go on to my number 2. And just so like the audience knows, at the beginning of this episode, I told these guys we weren't making any lore predictions. So now that I'm about to make a lore prediction, you can feel their agony and kind of feel their anger at me. So at the end of this set, Ravnica isn't going to be a guild setting anymore. So, I think this is the final time we're going to Ravnica as we know it.
Ravnica's gone.
Okay.
Like Ravnica will still exist, but the guilds and stuff are going to be like totally blown up by what's happening in this set. I think
it'll be locked, like unable to return, right? Kind of like Ixalan was, like all those planeswalkers were locked off from leaving, right? But
I just mean the level of destruction is going to change, like the setting as like into a different setting effectively.
All right, well, I'm going to add a lore one too, though, although this isn't my number 2, is that I think we might not see Planeswalkers for a set or 2 after this.
Oh, yeah. I could definitely see that.
That's a hard one to call me on after the next set, because we won't know for another set after that, but I can see that
reasonable.
happening.
Seems reasonable.
The one I had as a number 2 is kind of what we also have sort of discussed, is I want to see a good white O-ring effect, and I think that's fairly likely. We'll get something that can take out Planeswalkers. And like you said, we have Conclave Tribunal, we have Cast Out, or we had Cast Out in Standard. But
Ixalan's Binding.
Yeah, I think we'll see something pretty pushed. I'd love to see, I don't know, I'm trying to think of what an example would be. It'd have to be 3 mana or less. It would have to, maybe if it could like take out a creature and a non-creature or something like that.
I wouldn't mind seeing like a Quarantine Field effect back, just because you can hit multiple permanents with it.
Yeah, that was so expensive though. I mean, that's not played in Frontier right now.
But something better. I mean, something similar but better.
Sure, yeah.
All right, so whose turn? We have one
think it's
more.
You for your number 2.
Yeah, I guess I don't know if I would say this is number 2, but I kind of think that, speaking Frontier-wise, the red-white control deck was always really good. It had a lot of Planeswalkers in it, and I think with the possible Planeswalkers we're getting, as well as the cards that either are going to support it or hurt, or that are going to support Planeswalkers, I think that Planeswalker mid-range, or just Super Friends decks are going to get better in general in Frontier. I know you built a deck before that was somewhat playable, and then I know other people have made like Saheeli 4-color control, Planeswalker decks that were.
So we're going to see deploy the Gatewatch decks?
Maybe. That might be too much mana though. I think that's still like an EDH card.
No, I'm calling that as your prediction is that we're going to have one Deploy the Gatewatch deck, top 8 in
Deploy the Gatewatch.
So, just because you mentioned the red-white control specifically, I don't think there's going to be a single Planeswalker in this set that's going to be worth playing in red-white control. Oof. Just because the Planeswalkers in that list are so good and do like very specific things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Gideon of the Trials, Nahiri, Gideon, Ally of Zendikar.
Yeah.
Even missing, 6 of them that we could play.
There's already so many good stuff in that deck, and I think the average power of Planeswalkers has been dialed down just a little bit below even like the weakest one of those, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would say like Gideon of the Trials kind of rides the line, right? Where like...
Well, what about Huatli? If they've got a Huatli, you don't think we can replace that with a better red-white?
I don't think they should be running Huatli right now. I don't run it when I play red-white control. I think it's a trap. There are better 5-drops to run.
Okay.
Especially, I don't think your 5-drop should be a Planeswalker. It should be Thalia's Lancers.
All right, what do you got for number 1?
You guys?
Sorry, what's that?
Yeah, you guys go.
No,
my number 1 is 1 mana, instant speed Planeswalker removal.
Okay. I think that could definitely happen.
And I'm going to... And obviously, it's not going to remove anything else. It's just going to hit a Planeswalker.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to do a bonus prediction here. It's going to depict Bolas killing Vraska.
Okay.
So that's kind of similar to like the 1 mana, 2 mana spells that they had in Hour of Devastation, I think, like Chandra's Defeat, and the one that was
we've gotten some of those very niche ones. We've gotten that one where like you exile a creature with life more than or with power more than your life total.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a little less narrow than those.
Yeah,
I'm expecting it to be black, and it's just 1 mana, instant speed, destroy or exile target Planeswalker.
Interesting.
Could be Grixis colors.
Well, at 1 mana, it can't really be Grixis colors,
I guess.
All right, so my number 1, and I don't think this is too bold, but it's a decent prediction, is we're going to see Planeswalkers that have static abilities.
Yeah, I left that off my list because it felt like too easy. It felt like a give me.
Static abilities like 0 effects, you mean?
So something like, a Planeswalker that has an Enter the Battlefield ability, or a Planeswalker that has like, whenever a creature dies, put a loyalty on it. Something other than a Planeswalker ability on the Planeswalker.
Yeah, I would just about guarantee they're going to start exploring some of the Planeswalker space they've been throttling.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I specifically left that off the list because I was like, no way, I'm not. That's too easy.
I mean, it's not a gimme. I think that that would be a bold. It's something that has never happened before, so I think it would be a big change.
I would almost guarantee you it's in this set. If it's not in this set, I'll eat something that people shouldn't eat. I don't know. All right,
let's go through your last one here, Ryan, because we are coming up on our time.
So I've heard some people talking about this on Twitter, and if we're not going to have Flipwalkers that change from creatures to Planeswalkers, it's quite possible that maybe we'll have Planeswalkers that turn into creatures because they lose their spark.
So that they lose their spark? Oh,
yeah. So I thought that sounded really cool. That was a really good idea. Not my idea.
That's interesting. I wouldn't mind seeing that too, especially lore-wise, so that's pretty cool. All right, speaking of Twitter, guys, if you have any of your own predictions, why don't you reach out to us at mtgfrontier.net. Or MTG Frontier is our Twitter, mtgfrontier.net is our website, and we're also, you can find our Reddit, you can find our Discord from there, lots of ways to contact us. Tell us about what you think are going to be your predictions, and tell it to us soon, because, we're going to see spoilers coming up in, a little bit less than a month.
Yeah, right, 2 weeks or so. Yeah. Again, you can find me on Twitter at Yoshwenki, or you can check out my website at www.thejapanhobbyist.com.
Just yell at me on Discord.
Yes. That sounds like a good plan, Matt. All right, guys, this was a lot of fun. Glad to have both of you together. I'm hoping to see some of our wish lists come true. A lot of things I wanted on there myself. So let's see what happens next time on Magic the Final Frontier. And for everyone out there, we look forward to being your go-to source for Frontier information online. Your Final Frontier, signing off.